This printer's been out a while now and I've been using it quietly behind the scenes, and honestly, I didn't expect to like it as much as I do, because in some ways it beats the competition, but in others it reminds me exactly who made it. It's clever, it's tidy, it's frustrating, it's very, very Creality. So let's talk about the Creality Hi. I'm Ross and this is Fohammer Videos. And if you don't know me, I like to test, poke and occasionally swear at the machines you're thinking of buying. And this is Creality's answer to the A1. It's called the Hi, yes, like it's greeting you, and to be fair, it does make a pretty strong first impression. It looks good, it feels solid, the build quality is genuinely impressive, and even though it ships flat pack, the setup is stupidly easy. Everything just slides into place, and honestly, this was easier to build than some so-called pre-built printers I've tested recently, the ones where all you technically need to do is attach a hot end and a screen. The cables are tucked away nicely, the aluminium frame wraps everything up clean, and it just looks modern, professional, finally like it belongs in the current lineup of modern printers. Underneath you've got thick rubber feet that help dampen vibration, a small thing but it adds to that premium feel. Around the back you've got the power socket and rocker switch, and both are neatly tucked away. Over on the right, just behind the screen, you've got the USB port and the connection point for the CFS, which we'll come back to later. The build volume is a healthy 260 by 260 by 300mm, so that means it's slightly larger than some of its direct rivals, and it comes with some nicely integrated features. The dual-sided build plate slots perfectly into place thanks to tabs in the rear corners, and there's also a nozzle wiper for keeping things clean during prints. And even without the multi-material CFS system plugged in, it has got a filament kicker, and this makes filament changes easier because you just tell the printer what you want to do and it walks you through the swap. There's also an integrated 720p camera, which is great for monitoring and recording time lapses, but being a bed slinger, the time lapses are, well, let's just say more functional than sexy. The camera includes a light, which is decent, not amazing in low light, but it's definitely workable. And there's also a privacy cover because, well, no one needs a surprise OnlyFans moment with a half-finished Pikachu at 3 AM. And I've got to say, I love that the spool holder is mounted up top. I think this is exactly where it should be. It gives a clean and direct path from reel to hot end, and that's perfect for flexibles like TPU, and it's also way less faff when feeding filament. And with the runout sensor inside the extruder, you've got a setup that lets you actually use your filament rolls right down to the end, minus the usual purge blob, of course. But it's rather irritating that the hot end's power and data cable is often pinched against the frame when it's at the top. That's some serious wear waiting to tear. And as I said, this printer supports the CFS system. Well, up to 4 of them actually. These are Creality's enclosed multi-material feeders, and personally, I think they're a much better idea than the open-air solutions that some other brands have. Now, I didn't test the CFS on this particular printer, but I did use it with the K2 in that review, and well, I really liked it. I love the digital readout. It shows temperature, humidity, and even IDs each individual unit. The top-loading tubes are great, and you can easily get to the connections underneath too. Honestly, I've got to say it, I much prefer this over the original AMS because it's just more practical. And in those practical elements, I also prefer some of this over the AMS too as well. Now when it comes to the UI, this is your standard basic clippery printer kind of thing. It's clean, it's responsive, and it's got just enough Creality branding to feel consistent without being annoying in any way. And the flip out screen is excellent. It's got a solid hinge, decent clicky rotation, and great viewing angles. It actually feels like it belongs on a premium machine. There's nothing crazy in the UI side, neither good nor bad, it's just solid, and I really like that Creality have added NFC support on their newer filament reels, because with this printer you can now just tap the reel against the reader on the left of the printer and it automatically updates and tells the printer what you're using, which can then feed back to the slicer. And unlike other brands, this NFC feature isn't locked behind a multi-material system, so you get it even if you get the solo version of this machine to print in a single colour at a time. So with all those positives, what's the issue? Well, it's me, and this time I'm going to whinge about 2 things. One is the slicer. Again, the other is the Hotend. Now, I used to complain that Creality's phone app felt like a Trojan horse for selling you Creality coins as part of their marketplace. But lately, credit where it's due, they've really refined things, massively. This app has become a much more monitoring-focused assistant with the store tidily off to the side. The slicer... Look, it works, and I'm going to get people in the comments saying, it's fine, stop moaning. But look, I call things as I see them, and other people will be bothered by this as I am. So what I see is Creality took Orca Slicer and then changed it. But not just for the branding like other companies have, but for the sake of... I genuinely don't know what. They've messed with the icons, rearranged the layout, and somehow just overall made it less intuitive. Key settings are buried, some of them I can't find, things are backwards, and the whole experience feels clunkier than it was before they ever touched it. Now, if you buy this printer, and genuinely, it's worth considering if you're anti-other brands, just download Orca, run both side by side, and try to convince yourself Creality's version is better. Straight face though, I dare you. In fact, even without the printer, just go and download them both and have a play. Which is better? And how much better is it? Exactly. I don't get why Creality are doing this. I don't know what their objective is. You would think if they're going to change it this much, the goal would be, let's make this better than other slicers. But it is worse, right? It's not just me, yeah? And now, let's talk about the Hotend. Now, good news first. I love that the Creality logo spins. Yeah, it's a small thing, it's cute, but it's also functional because it tells you the extruder gear is turning. But then we get to the bad news. According to their marketing, the nozzle is clog-free and quick swap. Right, look, in my experience, I have genuinely had more clogs on Creality printers than any other brand, and that includes this one. And quick swap? I don't know what their definition is. I don't think they know what the definition is, but it's a buzzword, so they'll use it. For me, quick swap means a lever or a clip and the nozzle slides out, maybe a couple of screws at most. With this printer, you've got to first unscrew the casing rather than just pop it off like other brands, then follow a multi-step dance just to get the nozzle out. Don't take my word for it, go and watch their tutorial. I'll wait. Come back here when you're done and let me know what you think in the comments. And my clog wasn't even in the nozzle, it was in the extruder gear. Once again, like every other Creality printer that I've had Jam. It's not been all of them, but it's been more than half. But they have got a tutorial for that too. Again, go ahead and watch it, then come back here and tell me how quick or easy it was. Now, extruder jams can and probably will happen on any and every printer, and when they do for me, I'll tell you I've experienced it. You see, I see extruder jams just like paper jams in inkjet, so in my view these days, it's something that should be considered in the machine's design. And the thing is, we've seen Creality already do far better in this area on other machines, both in terms of nozzle swaps and extruder gear access. So why are they going backwards? Once again, like the slicer, like other printers, it's a decision that just doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't move the brand or the technology forward. If anything, it is stepping them back, whilst also muddying the water on their cross-brand compatibility of components. You see, where other brands have steadily iterated on one style of nozzle or other component, and then you can use that component on multiple machines, Creality come across like they're still trying to just play around and having a go at something new with every opportunity they get, so every new printer does it a new way. Now sometimes these add benefits, but when they add them, they seem to continually forget the ones they previously made. But all in all, I can whinge about this all day, but to be honest, it is a couple of small things that I know a lot of people out there will be willing to accept to get their hands on this printer, because when it works decently. Now my first layer wasn't perfect, there was some over extrusion which caused a rough surface, and this was using Creality's filament and profiles, and this machine's been out long enough for that to have been dialed in. But again, in despite of that, I printed out some good things. I printed out a few more of these Eternal Forge hammers, and yeah, they came out fantastically. If you haven't seen these yet, you will. I'm going to be doing them on every single review until I've printed the entire collection, and then I'll probably print them again. And I'm even doing a very fun one you might have already caught on my social channels. What I love about these models though is that they're print in place, support free, and they snap and screw together with built-in threads and clips. No glue, no screws, just smart design and a really satisfying end result. This is exactly the thing that gets you straight into painting, which for me is the fun bit. I love showing these off because I hope it encourages other upcoming designers to make models like this with, as I say about a lot of printers, ease of use and user experience in mind. The less of a barrier there is for somebody printing your thing to using your thing, the more they're gonna love it. So anyway, in conclusion of the Creality Hi, it's generally a solid printer and you'll be happy with this, right up until you aren't. The build is clean, the feature set is clever, the CFS compatibility is genuinely useful, and again, I prefer a lot of the CFS to other brand solutions. It's got a top-mounted spool holder, tidy USB placement, and that extra bit of build volume, they're all wins. But there's still that slight lingering feeling of, yeah, it's a Creality. And unfortunately, we all know what that means. If you don't, ask in the comments and more experienced members of the printing community will tell you. I would, but I don't want to be accused of being nothing more than a Creality hater, when the truth is, I love Creality, but I see so many opportunities that are facepalm, you can do better, how is this stuff not obvious? TLDR, great machine with some very obvious opportunities to improve. I want to say a massive thanks to you for watching and especially to our channel members. Your names are on screen now and your support is so appreciated, thank you. For everyone else, please consider joining them if you want early access, exclusive videos, Discord roles, or just to support the chaos that is my life. Until next time, I don't tip because society says I have to. Alright, I mean I'll tip if somebody really deserves it. Fohammer out.